out where the work is hard and the wild still calls. This is blue collar outdoors. Cold wind riding through the pines tonight, old truck headlights cutting through the dark, steel-toed boots in a backwoods trail, chasing freedom where the blackbirds sail. From the river bends to the timberline, every scar's got a story, every mile's earned in time. Blue collar outdoors, where the back roads whisper and the night wind roars. Blue collar outdoors, for the hunters, the workers, and the ones who endure through the frost, through the mud, through the smoke and the stars. We're living the life that made us who we are. Blue collar outdoors. Pull up a chair, the fire's lit. Blue collar outdoors.
All right, guys. Well, welcome back to Blue Collar Outdoors. My name is Kevin Gertson, and this is my co-host, Elijah. We are so excited to have you on tonight. We actually have our first guest speaker that we'll be introducing here shortly. But first, Elijah, what you been up to this week?
I've been up to a lot. My wife and kids got back from Wisconsin on Sunday. We're recording this on a Friday night, so they've been back for a few days now.
Mm-hmm.
They went out there to see family, so I had been, the 2 weeks they were gone, I was just slammed with work. Yeah, they got to see Kevin. But it's been nice having them back for the past few days and just kind of switch my brain off from working 13, 14 hours a day to, oh yeah, that's right, I'm still a husband and a father, and getting kind of back into that cycle. So it's been a great week. I've been super glad. What about you, Kevin?
Dude, it's been absolutely crazy. There's a little bit of a job change for me going on. Laying down my business and starting with a new company come this next Monday. So just trying to wrap up all my open projects. And it's just, I think I've done at least 13-hour days every day this week. And I probably could have worked another 2 or 3 days. And so it's been a good week, but I am exhausted. And last week I had like a late overnight in Wichita at a Starbucks, and I'm still feeling the repercussions of that. You know, us almost 40-year-olds don't recover from, 5 a.m. work nights very quickly. So, but other than that, it's been a great week. You been up to any hunting or fishing recently? I kind of doubt it with your work schedule.
No, I wish I could have gotten out more in the early summer to do some fishing.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking the other day at steelhead reports, and it looks like the fall steelhead run is not going to be that good, which I kind of expected.
Kind of like the salmon
run this spring. Yeah. And so I kind of expected it, but that's a bit of a bummer. But now for us in Idaho, we have in 2 weeks, the 30, whatever, last day of August is first day of bow season. So we've got just a couple weeks until bow season starts for us.
Nice. Yours starts a little bit earlier than ours.
Yeah. So I'm stoked for that. I need to get out and start shooting my bow a little bit.
Yeah, me too. I was doing really, really good towards the beginning of the year, getting it out at least once or twice a week, and come about May, actually when we headed to Idaho, I don't think it's been out of its case since then. So yeah, I need to get mine out, tune it up, make sure that I'm shooting true, and I probably need to fletch a few arrows too, because mine have taken a beating over the last few months.
Yeah.
So we'll see. You got any good job site stories from the last? Well, actually, golly, what was that? A little over a month ago that we did our last recording.
A little over a month. Job site stories. I mean, not anything I would say that's like funny or interesting or exciting. It's interesting and exciting to me. We're doing this OCO now.
Yeah.
Which is that glass, concrete, composite siding that we're putting on a house. And I guess technically it's pronounced UCO. I figured that out. So I've
Uco?
been saying it wrong
Okay.
for months. Uco.
Yeah, that's okay.
But that's been interesting for me, just being able to install a new product that I've never had any experience with before, and
Hmm.
kind of going through the learning curve there. And now that we're almost done with it, it happens this way on every job. You're almost done with something, and then you get really efficient at it. But so that's
Yep.
been cool for me. That would be my job site story, if you could call it that.
Cool beans. Yeah, I think for mine, it would have to be this Springwell water filtration system that I just did. It was a royal pain, but it ended up super pretty. Like, really clean, nice, professional install. But yeah, it was a bugger, and it's the first time that I've got to do like the three-piece filtration system. So it's always fun learning something new. But man, there's some choice words in between
Yeah.
the learning and the appreciating. So,
Yeah.
any good family moments from your kiddos getting back and all that?
Uh, oh yeah, I do have one. So my 2-year-old, his butt's been itching, like he's got diaper rash or something, whatever. And it's just so funny. The other day, I wish I could act it out. I wish there was enough of him on this camera. The other day, he comes up to me and he pulls down his shorts and his underwear and he bends down and puts his hand on the ground and he goes, "Dad, butthole, itch." I'm like, dude, I'm not scratching your butthole. I will wipe you if that's what you need. But
Yep.
yeah, as a 2-year-old, it was just like, oh my gosh, kids are so funny.
Oh, they really are. Yeah, I think the best thing that I've seen recently was actually today. I had to watch the two younger ones this morning because our eldest had a doctor's appointment, just getting ready for preschool and all that good stuff. And our younger daughter, is now walking. But these two, they're 26 days apart. Um, and they, for all intents and purposes, they're twins, and they literally love each other. So I'm holding them both on my lap, and they're just constantly hugging each other, and like it was the cutest thing. But
That's
I think that's
awesome.
that's my family highlight. We haven't
Yeah,
got to
yours
do
is a
much.
little bit more PG than mine.
Oh, trust me, there's plenty that we could pull from.
Yeah.
The things that come out of toddlers'
Oh,
mouths are,
so
are the
fun, dude.
funniest things.
I know, it's awesome.
Um, and then anything that you're looking forward to this next week?
Yeah, we should finally be off this huge 9,000 square foot house we've been on for the last,
Nice.
seems like forever. So
So
hopefully we're
mainly
wrapping
looking
that
forward to
up
the
next week.
payday.
Yeah. Yeah, it was nice. We got part of that because it was a bid. And so we got whatever it was, X amount of dollars added on to this last month's paycheck, which was really nice. And then we'll split up the rest of it at the end. But yeah, it'll be a good paycheck. That's all
Sweet.
I'll say.
Nice. Alrighty. For me, getting started in this new job. Like
Yeah.
Monday, like it's onboarding, getting into all the systems. They use Company Cam. Um, they did sign up for House Call Pro, which I'm pretty much going to be training the team on because none of them have ever used it. Um, Getting to meet my first handyman that I'm head over. Um, so yeah, it's just going to be fun getting all the uniform set and good to go. We get to go tool shopping, um, eventually trailer shopping, and then they're supposed to be getting me a nice big new truck too. So
Nice.
sometime in the next 30 to 90 days. So that'll be fun.
Sweet.
No,
Heck yeah.
but
Well,
awesome.
let's talk tools for a second. Kevin,
Yeah.
have you used any new tools recently, or is there maybe something that you've grown to appreciate tool wise?
Yeah, actually, I did get a few new tools. Sorry, my wife, when you listen to this. Rigid came out with their new Nuke line, and I'm a Rigid guy through and through. And so I did pick up the new Rigid Stealth Force impact driver just
Oh yeah.
because I was curious, number one. Number two, the reviews are just killer on it. And I will have to say it does meet up with the hype. Like it is an amazing tool. It's extremely quiet, which I was a little shocked by. I mean, an impact
Huh.
driver that's quiet, those two things don't exist. Um, and the power, like that's the other thing. This is a subcompact. It's not a full size impact,
Yeah.
and yet it twists my wrist worse than my full size impact.
Really nice.
Yeah, dude, it drives like crazy. In of course, Rigid and Milwaukee are made by the same company. It's TTI.
Mhm.
You can definitely tell it in this one. Like the tri LED around the head of the unit is
Mhm.
almost identical to the Milwaukee, which that's the one thing that Rigid's been needing to revamp. So I was glad to see it on this one.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, but other than that, I mean, probably the tool that I've used the most this week, it's kind of crazy, is my Milwaukee switchback knife. It's the box
Ah,
knife with the screwdriver on the end of it. That thing, that is probably my most used tool out of everything.
dude,
Like,
it's so funny when you're on a job site and you don't have your utility knife on you.
mm,
You'll be like, oh, I probably won't use it today. And then in the next 5 minutes, you'll need to use it 400 times. Like,
yep.
okay, well, that sucks.
Well, and make that your main screwdriver too. And now you
Yeah.
understand why I use it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What about you, brother? Anything new in
um,
your toolbox?
no, I mean, it's tough for me that we've been doing the same thing for so long now that there's not really anything new. I mean, we're using mason bits to drill through this Uco. We're using Hardy saw blades. I mean, all stuff that I've used
Oh,
before,
jeez.
but just stuff that you have to specifically use for this product. And so, yeah, I wouldn't say
Mm,
anything new, anything that I appreciate tool wise there. I mean, of course, I appreciate it all because it makes our job easier, but it
hmm.
still sucks, right? Like you're still cutting through concrete. So
Are
it's
you
like,
having to use a hammer drill or use an SDS rotary?
no, just a rotary.
Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
thankfully. Because
Fair
it's
enough.
it's only it's only 9/16 thick, and those
Oh,
mason
okay.
bits are used for, I mean, you'll find tile that's that thick all over, and so they hold up pretty well. But it just, I mean, it still sucks. Like you're masked up, your frickin' arms are itching because of all the glass dust that you're getting underneath
Yep.
it. So no new
Ugh.
tools for me, no appreciation. I'll be appreciative when I can stop using these tools.
Fair
I
enough.
can finally be done.
Fair enough.
So,
Understandable.
so you would say then that rigid is, I mean, you're a rigid guy now, kind of. So not that you're a rigid guy, but that'll be something that's in your toolbox long term. Especially you're going next week to pick out tools. You're probably going to get all rigid there, aren't you?
I that was in my interviews. I had that discussion because they have a lot of Milwaukee gear right now, and it's like Milwaukee's great, but I told them it's like they also have a Denver office. That's actually where headquarters are. I was like, if they use Milwaukee out there, we're taking it out there. They can use it. They can have it.
Yeah.
We're going rigid for two different reasons. Number one, that's what I'm used to. Number two, though, and for any business out there that's looking to invest in tools, if you aren't already dedicated to a certain platform, Rigid has lifetime service agreement. All of your batteries are covered for life as long as you register them within the first 90 days. Same thing with all their tools. Like I have leaf blower, weed whacker, a dual charger, 6-port charger. I have probably 30 rigid batteries. I have an SDS rotary. I have two different sets of impact slash drill drivers. And then I also have that new, nuke impact. I have circular saws, grinders, oscillating tool, like everything, and it's all rigid.
Yeah, and just so everybody listening knows, this episode is not sponsored by Rigid.
Rigid.
Kevin, but in the future, if Rigid wants to sponsor an episode, that'd also be cool. So
Yeah,
get in
100%.
contact with us. That'd be sweet.
Heck, even my trailer lighting is powered by rigid batteries.
You give sponsorship, you could give us 3 rigid batteries. We'll call it even. We'll plug you for the next 4 episodes. Whatever. We'll work something out.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Okay, so what's been kicking your butt lately? I mean, life in the summer always kind of kicks your butt, but is there anything specific for you?
Honestly, that water system kind of like. So this is a client that I've been working with. They're, like I said, they're friends of mine. They're kind of like the honeydew people, the honeydew list. Like I just have a literal Apple note that they just constantly add to, like, hey, this needs to get done, this needs to get done. So I went over there the other day to replace a garbage disposal because that was like top of their list, and it was kind of an emergency one because it was smelling really bad because it wasn't working. And I was planning on probably swapping out a ceiling fan that they needed swapped out.
Mm-hmm.
And I got done with the garbage disposal. I was like, cool. So you want me to get that ceiling fan? She's like, actually, can you work on the water system? Which I had totally forgot about. This thing has been sitting in the garage for a year. Because I got it on some deal and they didn't have anybody to install it. And so when I started my handyman business and they actually came to me, they're like, hey, is this something that you could do? And I was like, yep. And so I had totally forgotten about it. She's like, yeah, could you get that started today? And I was like, sure. And
I was planning on it.
Yeah. And so, I mean, like, this week has just been killer. I mean, I had to finish up a railing on a front porch, which it's been frickin' 104 degrees every day, and it's humid as all get out here. So you just walk out the front door and you immediately feel like you had a shower. And so I had to finish that up. That was a whole fiasco. Like, when they shipped in the panels for the railing, they were scratched up, so I had to reorder and do all that, and it was such a headache. But finally got that one knocked out, and then I had this garbage disposal and the water filter system, and then I had like 3 or 4 other jobs as well this week. Just boom, 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 boom. And then today, on top of, dealing with one toilet install at that same location where I did the water filter, my good buddy, he just bought a house and he's getting his ready for sale. And he's like, dude, I need a toilet done. And I was like, why is everybody needing plumbing all of a sudden? Like, that's what I feel like I've just been doing for like the last 2 weeks, is just plumbing.
Hey, you get real good at it.
I've gotten very proficient at soldering, which if I never touch a soldering torch again, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
But I did that, and then he like had 50 bajillion other things that he was wanting me to do. It's like, dude, I'm beat. I need to go home. I'm done.
Yeah. It's time to be done.
Yep. But what about you? I'm sure it's this 9,000 square foot house that's just been kicking your butt.
Yeah, that July kicked my butt. I counted up my hours the other day, and I was at like 256 hours for the month of July. God. So it's whatever, it was like an average of 13.5-hour days through the whole entire month. I was like so freaking burnt out. So that's been killing me. Getting off this big job, hopefully at the end of next week, is going to just be a breath of fresh air. Be able to start something else, anything else, please.
Like prepping for deer season.
Yeah, exactly. I'm kind of bummed. Well, I'm not bummed. I'm so glad we're having our daughter at the end of September.
Mm-hmm.
But this is now my second kid that I'm having in September, which so far has taken away 2 deer seasons. So I'm going to try to get in as much hunting as possible early September. But
your
also
September
not
is
take time
like
work.
my March.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like, I mean, July's been crazy. September's going to be crazy. August is hopefully going to slow down. Eventually, it'll be winter, and then I won't work as much. So, yeah,
there we go.
It's all been kicking my butt. Okay, so some people would probably call us crazy. Maybe you have some insight on this, Kevin, but why do we work so long and so hard all week just to go and spend time outdoors?
That is a good question. For me, It's where I recharge and find my peace,
Mm.
honestly. If it's me alone, or if it's me and the kids, or the entire fam, like, I don't know. There's just something about being outdoors that
Yeah.
recharges the mental capacities, recharges the soul, um, allows me to actually let go of the work week, um, let go of everything that's going on, and just be present.
Yeah,
So,
that's cool.
what about you?
Yeah, I think first of all, it's funny because 95% of my work is outside, but it's such a different feeling working outside versus going and hunting outside.
Yep.
You're like, wow, I guess 80 degrees really isn't that hot. Meanwhile, earlier in that day, you're like dying, drenched in sweat.
Right.
And so, but I love the outdoors. I love in construction that I get to be outside, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm into hunting and fishing and camping and these outdoor activities. I wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, it's just amazing to be able to spend time in God's creation, and especially when you're submerged in God's creation, when you're
Yeah.
in the backwoods and you're up on a mountain and you're standing in a stream. And I mean, it's like you said, Kevin, like nothing beats it. It's unbeatable.
Yep. Yeah. And plus, I mean, there's no better way to cool down than standing in the middle of a 50-degree river.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, I
Like,
know.
it's the
Yeah,
best,
it could be
best thing.
100 degrees outside. Who cares?
Yep. Awesome. Well, guys, that kind of leads us into our next topic. So, welcome to our guest speaker, guys. This is Taylor Davis. I actually met Taylor on a Facebook marketplace buy. I was buying a pretty paint bag off of him. And so, Taylor, why don't you take the next few minutes, kind of introduce yourself and what got you started in the outdoors?
Right on, man. I'm Taylor Davis, and I'm a full-time stay-at-home dad as of here recently. So that's been kind of a big change for me. I've got a 2.5-year-old daughter, and I've got an 8-month-old son. So super busy. Definitely, like I said, it's definitely a change, but it's busy. So my wife's a teacher, so she works full-time as a teacher, and I'm pretty blessed. I can say that is definitely something I am is blessed. So, and I take every second with my family. It's awesome. So, but what got me into outdoors and kind of got me into doing the outdoors thing was just I think I don't know. There's something to it. Anybody that goes outdoors and spends time outdoors, it's a place of peace. You get out there and you just get away from the phones, get away from the social media. I don't like to be on my phone when I'm out hunting, and when I'm out fishing, and when I'm out doing stuff. I like to put the phones away, and it's really a surreal thing. So, and that's what really got me into it. And then not only that, being able to hunt and fish and do these things with my family for one, and my friends, and it gets you closer to those people that you're involved with. So that's what I love about it.
That's
Awesome.
awesome.
That is awesome. And Taylor, what is one lesson that the outdoors has taught you that has carried over into your everyday life?
I would say probably patience more than anything. I mean, if you're not patient, and I say that because I've had several instances where it's like, man, you know what? I'm not seeing anything. I'm ready to get out of here. It's like, why am I still sitting in this tree if I'm not seeing anything? And then 5 minutes later, you have an opportunity where it's like the woods wake up, and it's just like, you know what? If you get that patience and you're out there anyway, you might as well just enjoy the little things, watching the birds and watching the wildlife, and that's where it's kind of brought me over to my family too. And my dad, he's actually he's been a blue collar worker his whole life. We own a pest control company, and he's like, man, if I could tell you how lucky you are to be able to stay home with your kids. And he was working 60-hour work weeks and never home. I never seen him, worked all weekend. And he's like, man, you're blessed. And sometimes it takes someone to say that for you to realize, hey, man, I am blessed. You know, this is something that's most people don't get to experience. So I think that's where the wildlife thing and being outdoors has taught me, you know what, patience and just slow down a little bit. Don't be afraid to soak it all in.
Yep, 100%. I know when I get out to the stream, I can always tell, like the first 30 minutes to an hour, it's absolute crap because I haven't allowed myself to slow down and get into that rhythm. It's so funny. But yeah, you hit it right on the head. I mean, 100%.
Yeah.
Patience is definitely one of the biggest lessons I think you learn from the outdoors. So, awesome, guys. Well, let's hit the main topic here. Let's talk about prepping for deer season.
Ooh,
so, this one's going to be a little bit more aimed towards Elijah, just because you're stay-at-home dad. But, I mean, like you hinted, stay-at-home parents, like, people think that that's an easy thing. No, not at all. Not even remotely. I would actually, my wife is a stay-at-home mom, and she definitely works harder than I do. 100%.
It's crazy. It took a lot of getting used to, I can tell you that. And for anybody that hasn't done it, it's like you just don't know until you're in that person's shoes, you know? It's 100%.
Crazy. Well, especially, oh my gosh, you said an 8-month-old, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, jeez. Walking yet or not yet?
He's crawling. He's busy though. He's always doing something. Yep. And my daughter, like, she wants to help. She's in that helping stage, and a lot of times help isn't help. So you're like, you're dealing with a lot, and it's a lot. So
it'll probably actually get a little easier when he starts walking.
I'm hoping so, because he does. He's got a walker, and he chases her around the house, and they love that, but she doesn't love it as much as he does. So
of course.
So that's how it goes.
All right, gents. Well, what does the transition look like for both of you, actually? Going from either a full week of busting it on the job site or a full week of busting in the house with the kiddos, probably wanting to pull your hair out and your beard out and everything, going into hunting mode. Like, what does that look like? What's that transition like? I mean, we just kind of hinted at it, the slowing down process, that patience, but what does it really look like for you guys?
Yeah, I'll take it first. For me, it's kind of just getting in the right headspace, I would say, is the biggest thing. You always feel like, a lot of times when you're out hunting, you're not going to be successful. It's part of hunting. But I have such a deeper appreciation for it if I can just enjoy the moment instead of be out in the woods and say, I've got to do X, Y, Z. I'm stressed about finances. I'm stressed about this job, whatever it is. And so many times, if you're just sitting somewhere waiting, these things run through your mind. But for me, like, being able to switch into that headspace and have what I consider a successful hunt is where I'm totally engrossed in what I'm doing right now. And that for me is what I would consider switching gears, if you will.
Okay. Cool.
Sorry about that, guys. I was getting a call.
Oh, you're all good.
We're good to go.
And so what about for you, Taylor? What does that transition look like for you?
I think for me, it's one of those things where it's kind of hard to find time to get out in the woods. My wife's actually a hunter too, so, which I'm stoked about. I love it. I'm glad that she's into it. She's actually an archery hunter too, so
nice.
Being
That's
able
awesome.
to go out together is super tough, and then you run into the issues of who gets to go out and who gets to actually go and sit and do this if you don't have somebody to watch the kids. So, but no, I mean, I think the transition there is just taking the time to know when you are out, just letting all the other things go and just trying to focus on the reason why you're out there and soaking it all in, because I mean, sometimes I get up into the tree stand and I'm like, man, I have this to do. I have that to do. I still got to go home and do this. Or I wonder I wonder if the wife's doing this. And it's like, listen, I'm out here. I need to slow down and just enjoy while I'm out here, you know?
Yep.
And that's the biggest thing. You get wrapped up into what's going on at home, or man, should I even be out here? Sometimes you even get those thoughts like, am I out here just wasting my time? And it's like, you gotta really focus in on, hey, you're out here for a reason too. And this is where you're at, you know?
Yep. 100%. Yeah, I was gonna say that's really similar for me. My first few minutes in the stand, or just sitting in the woods, my hunting spot over here, I don't get to be in a stand, unfortunately. But yeah, it's just trying to put all of the intrusive thoughts of what's going on at home, finances, like just trying to put those to the side. Also, not messing with the frickin' phone while you're out there. Definitely helps.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I will find myself like wanting to grab my phone, and I have started purposely putting it deeper into either my pack or deeper into my coat pocket if it's cold outside, just so that it's tougher to get to. But yeah, I think especially that first 10-15 minutes is really just trying to get the mind clear and just be present in the moment.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah, that phone, man, it's a distracting thing, and it can.
It really is.
I don't know how many times I've been on my phone, and then all of a sudden you look up and it's too late. You've got deer moving in, and they move in so quiet. Nature's crazy how fast it can sneak up in on you. So.
Yep. Well, those things, man, they blend so well. Even when you're looking at it, like sometimes you can completely miss the movement. So. And then. What is it like? What's your guys' experience when you finally do step out of the job site or step out of the home and step into the woods? Like, what's the overwhelming feeling that you get?
Yeah, it makes me feel like a kid again. I remember being 10 years old and on my 10th birthday, getting to go quail hunting. Because at that point in time, you had to be 10 to hunt small game. And I feel like that every single time I'm able to get out in the woods. That feeling never left. There's two things in my life that have stayed the same. It's football and hunting. And those feelings have never changed. That first Sunday when football's finally on again, I feel like a kid. That first time and every time I step out into the woods, I feel like a kid again. And it's the greatest feeling in the world.
That's awesome. What about you, Taylor?
I think for me it's the freedom. Yeah, like getting out and being able to get away from all the stresses in life. And then I think it's the learning experience, because I don't care how many times I've been in the woods, I don't care how many times I've fished or I've hunted. If I don't learn something every time I go out, and if I don't get that adrenaline rush every time a deer comes in, whether it's a doe, whether it's a buck, every time you get a fish on the line, I feel like that's what keeps you going out there, is that adrenaline. That just and people that don't get to experience that, or people that have never experienced that, I mean, I feel sorry for them, because that adrenaline is just, you can't. And even if you're just sitting there watching them and you're not even, you're just going to watch them, you're going to pass on them, whatever it is. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but that adrenaline, just that shake, that feeling that you get is just, that's what it's about.
Yep. 100%. And it doesn't even have to be a fish on the line. It could just be a bump.
Yeah. And then it's coming.
Yep. 100%. Like, love that. And you're all right. It's so sad when I've met people that have never fished in their life or never been out in the woods hunting. Like, I do feel sorry for them, because it is.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like riding a motorcycle for the first time. There is nothing else in the world like it. Like, it is such a sense of freedom and peace, like, particularly with the woods. But yeah, it's just something that everybody should experience at least once in their life.
Totally
Many times. So, awesome.
I've got two of my buddies that haven't ever really been out before. Maybe went out once or twice when they were younger, and they're both wanting to go this year, and so I'm stoked. It's like with your kids, you see something through their eyes for the first time, and so it's like a heightened level of, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. hopefully we get into something so they want to keep hunting, you know. But
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. It's gonna be cool.
That is
yeah.
going to be fun.
Yeah, I've kind of got a little bit of something to add on that because I actually have a buddy of mine. I mean, I kind of treat him like a brother. He's a real good guy, and his name's JT, and he was real on the fence about the hunting. You know, he just like, I don't know if I could ever see myself doing that, and I never tried to pressure him into it, and it started out where he was like, you know what, I might just get a bow and do the archery thing, and then it just one thing led into the other, and then talking about conservation and why it's a good thing that we're out there doing what we're doing. And eventually he just was like, you know what, I mean, I've done enough research, I've done enough looking that I think I'm going to give it a try. And man, if I can tell you guys, he is all about it. He is
Nice.
avid hunter through and through. And it was one of those things. I got to see him on his first deer. I was there when he made it happen, and just all the
That's
emotions.
cool.
And
That's
and
awesome.
that right there is probably the best thing to me, is being able to go out with people. I missed my wife on her first deer. She actually killed her first deer 8 months pregnant.
Oh, nice.
with a bow. Yeah, she
That's
actually
awesome.
left work. She left work and went and got into the blind by herself. She was texting me, "Hey, I made it in. I'm here with the kids," and it was she was probably there for a couple hours on a piece of private that we had set up, and I set it up just for her and the fact that she was pregnant, and it was a short walk into the woods, get it in the blind, and then all of a sudden I'm getting a call, and I could just hear it in her voice, you know, just the excitement. And she's like, I just smoked a nice buck at 17 yards, and she got a new bow that year, and she practiced, and I just couldn't believe that she did it 8 months pregnant. It was crazy. So, and that's what I live for, is those other people getting to experience it, and I love being there. My goal this year is actually to film hunts for other people. So that's kind of my big thing this year.
That'd
That'd
be
be
awesome.
sick. Good luck with that. And if you do, we require footage.
Okay, yeah, I love it. I love it.
I was
Well,
gonna
let's
say
talk-
we might have to
Yeah.
stick some of that into the Blue Collar Outdoors like trailer or something.
That'd be cool,
sweet.
man.
That'd be so sick. Well, let's talk about hunting prep for a second. How do you guys prep for a hunt? And specifically, we're talking here tonight about deer hunting. What does prep look like for you guys for that? And kind of along that same vein, what's the difference? What do you consider the difference between a successful hunt and a bad hunt? And maybe that plays into how you prep for it.
Taylor, I'm gonna let you go first on this one.
Well, I think my prep starts as early in the year as possible. Like actually we're kind of in the prep stage now. Any free time we can possibly get, whether it's me by myself or me with a buddy or me with my brother, we're climbing trees. We're getting used to, because we're public land hunters. So we're in the woods. We're getting deep into public land. We're climbing trees. We don't leave anything on public. So for us, it's getting up the tree as efficient as possible. We started out with 2-piece climbers and did that for a year and said, you know what, this ain't the answer. Then we kind of went into the saddle game, and everybody was kind of talking saddles up and doing saddles, and we did that, and we really liked it. We built some single sticks with some aiders, and we were able to get up the trees pretty quick and just kind of keep progressing our setups. This year we're actually climbing trees SRT. So we've got ropes. We toss a bean bag up over a tree. You connect your rope to it. You pull the rope up the tree, and you're up the tree in 5 minutes. Set up.
Dang.
So that's our prep. Our prep is making it in the woods, getting in a tree as fast as possible, but also safe. Our big thing is safe. My wife actually got her first saddle this year. She's gonna be a saddle hunter this year. So she got one off Marketplace for $80. Got some tethered pouches for it, and we're getting her set up, and that to me is where the prep comes in, is the early season stuff. And hunting from a tree is a big deal on public land. I think that's where. Well, and I say that, but I've shot all my deer from the ground. but I love the idea of getting up into a tree, you know?
Yep. Yeah, I don't know what it is about being up in a tree that makes it so much better. I don't
And it does, man. The
it
views. I
really
think it's the
does.
view. It's
I
the
think
view, getting up there and almost feeling that surrealness of, man, I'm 20 foot up a tree and
mhm.
I'm by myself or I'm with a buddy and you guys are both just sitting there, and it's something about being in the woods in a tree just makes you feel completely different.
That's amazing. Yeah, well, and I was gonna suggest, like, when you guys go and do that style of climbing again, definitely take some video of it. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah, we
I
can
would
definitely do
be
that.
so interested
It's
because
funny,
I mean,
actually got my saddle and my single stick sitting right here because I mean, any second that I can get, and it's a lot of times it's after my wife gets home, I go out and I do as much as I can,
mhm,
whether it's keeping up with the house or working on. I do a lot of handyman stuff too. I wrench on stuff for people here in our gated lake community that we live in,
mhm,
and so any second that I can get where I have time to practice, I practice as much as I can.
that's awesome.
So.
Yeah, for me, prep. I mean, my mindset would be to just be prepping all the time, never be out of prep, honestly, especially as a bow hunter. I don't think you can ever have the perfect shot. Like,
No,
I think
no
there's
way.
always something to improve, whether it's form or a release or a piece of gear. And that's the other thing that I think a lot of bow hunters make a mistake when they're, quote unquote, prepping for the season. They go and they switch out all their gear and they don't go retune their bow. They don't go, shoot at paper. They don't, nothing. Like, they get new arrows and they expect to be right on target the first time. And it's like, no, that's not how it works,
No.
guys. Sorry. Um, so yeah, I mean, in an ideal world, I would love to prep, but especially about a month and a half, 2 months out, I will drag out the bow and start shooting again. Make sure that all my arrows are fletched and ready to go for season. And there's always, like, I don't know how you guys are with your bows and everything. I always choose 5 arrows. 5 arrows because that's what my quiver holds. And those are the 5. I'll shoot them a few different times and then refletch them, shoot them one last time, making sure that I don't hit them on each other to screw up the vanes. But once I know
Yeah.
that they're tuned in just fine, those get put in my quiver and they're held for hunting season. Like, I put my
No.
broadheads on, and that's the last time I touch those.
And I think
Um,
that's the way most hunters do it. If you don't
yeah,
have your set arrows, I mean, you're not
yeah,
doing it right.
yep, exactly. But then all of my, practice arrows are the exact same fletchings, the exact same arrow, like everything down to a T. That way, when I am practicing, I know that I'm shooting at least as close as humanly possible to my hunting arrows. Um, Other than that, prep. My piece of land that I hunt is private, which is kind of nice. Nothing really changes on it. Um, I do try to make it out there at least 2 or 3 times before the season starts just to see what new movement and new scrapings um, there are in the area. But yeah, that's if I get time. With my schedule recently, I'm going to be doing good to get out before bow season actually starts.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially starting a new job here too.
Yeah, yeah, that too. Um,
Yeah.
as for the difference between a successful hunt and a bad hunt, in my personal opinion, if you ever have a bad hunting trip, you're doing something wrong.
No
Um,
kidding.
yeah, and I think that, honestly, shifting that mindset is the key between a successful hunt and a bad hunt. Is there is no such thing as a bad hunt. Like, if you get to spend 5 minutes out in the woods, that's a good day. And so I think that's where I stand on bad hunt versus successful hunt.
I would wholeheartedly agree with that.
Yep.
And for me, as far as prep goes, I mean, I completely agree with everything you guys have said. And there's so much. We could spend 2 whole episodes just talking about prep for bow season, right?
5 hours probably, but
Yeah, the big things for me are obviously scouting, knowing where the animals are. I also like to be able to range with my eyes, and so I'll usually a couple times before the season starts go out, shoot some distances with my rangefinder, know those distances 20, 30, 40, 50, and then start ranging with my eyes because you have so many situations where you'll have something just run in and you got to whistle to get it to stop, and you need to know what those distances are because sometimes you don't have the opportunity to be able to pull out your rangefinder. Those would be the big ones for me. Clearing trails, setting up trail cams. Again, there's so much stuff. It's such a big world for just hunting prep. Those would be the big ones that I think I would kind of hammer home before I ever get out.
fair
And
enough.
then, let's see, do you guys have mistake? Of course you do. What's a mistake you've made while hunting?
What
And
mistake haven't we made?
what lesson did you learn from it too? Because everybody makes mistakes. You just hope when you do make that mistake that you learn something from it.
Well, since I made Taylor go first last time, I'll take this one. First off, I'm still fairly new to hunting. I think this is season 4 for me. One of the biggest mistakes that I made being a new hunter was forgetting my rangefinder. And actually, by forgetting, I let my buddy Lynn, borrow it, and he lost it. And so I hadn't got a new one yet. Went out hunting, and yeah, the woods are tricky, especially at dusk and dawn with distances. Like, yeah, that was one mistake. So the lesson learned was always making sure that you have your gear that you need before you go out. I think to be a responsible hunter, that is a requirement. Never really had it be a problem, but one other thing that I noticed as I was packing up to leave a hunt was that I left my drag at home. That would have really sucked. So yeah, mine's mostly gear related. Another mistake that I've made in the field was shooting before I was ready. Learning to wait on a shot or wait until you have a good enough shot is paramount, and I think every bow hunter especially goes through that when they're new. So I've definitely let arrows fly that I shouldn't have. So yeah, thankfully I've never harmed an animal that I couldn't find. So.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Kevin. I think that's that last little bit you touched on is definitely a key thing, especially when you're first starting out. I've had several instances in the woods, learning experiences, if you wouldn't say the least. I think one at the beginning of every year that always gets me is the getting out of the woods too early. Whether it's whether you're out for a morning hunt, whether you're out for an evening hunt, it's if you're out there, you need to, and especially if you have time, don't let the little things get you to back out of the woods, because I had an incident last season, and I'm almost ashamed to even admit it. I go out on a morning hunt. My wife's home with the kids. It was a Saturday. I was hunting a piece of public. I go in, I get set up. It was freezing cold, sometime in November, and I'm enjoying it, and not only I'm usually not on my phone, and then I get a text from my wife, and she's like, "Have you seen anything?" And I'm like, "Nope, not yet. I'm just out here enjoying myself, And she goes, "Well, if you're not seeing anything, would you want to go get breakfast with all of us?" And I go, you know what? I'm like, I thought about it. I was like, I don't know. I got out here early before dark or before sunlight, and I was like, I got in here. I'm here. And then it started eating at me, and I'm like, well, maybe I should just go get breakfast with them. I'm not seeing anything, And so I kid you not, and I'm hunting in a ground blind. I unzip the blind. I'm making all kinds of noise. I grab my bow, and I take 3-4 steps out of the blind. I come around the corner, and I got 3 big does coming up the trailhead.
Oh man!
And I'm sitting there, and I hadn't seen anything the last 3 times I went out. And I'm sitting there, and I kind of tuck back into a little piece of CRP, and I'm like, man, these deer are still coming. And I kid you not, if those does weren't walking right in front of me, and they stop, and they're just looking right at me, I actually drew my bow back, and I'm like, this isn't ethical. They're looking right at me. There's no way I'm going to shoot this doe, and I ended up letting down. But every year, it seems like I run into an issue where I back out too early.
Yep.
Or try to get in a rush to get out of the woods, and that's a big thing. If you're out there, especially in the evening, sit until dark.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those big deer, especially deer in general, they come out. It doesn't take it can take 5 seconds, and then you have a deer on you. They move through the woods real quick, and they can cover a lot of ground.
Yep.
So you just once you're there, you got to be in it.
Uh-huh. I've had that same situation. It was 2 years ago. I had just left my spot, and I got notification from my camera that the buck that I had been chasing, like this was a 12, maybe 14 point buck that I had taken a shot at earlier that year, like walked right by where I was sitting. And it's like,
oh yeah.
I mean, I missed him by maybe 10 minutes.
It's cringy. It's you're just sitting there.
Drives you nuts.
Yeah, and that's how my brother is. Because sometimes my brother will text me I kind of, and I'm not saying you guys do this, but I run into a lot of people that rely on their cell cams so much, and if they're not seeing deer on their cameras, they're not hunting. And I'm like, man, they almost hunt those cameras, and it's like you can't hunt those cell cameras.
No.
Well, my brother one morning he texts me, he's like, yeah, I haven't seen anything. Are you going out? And I'm like, I'm already on the road, man. I'm going.
Yeah.
And I'm always, if I'm hunting in the morning, I get out there in the dark. I mean, whether or not it's a scary walk into the woods, which it always is. We can talk about that. I don't care how manly you are. There's nothing more scary than walking into the woods when it's pitch black.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, but he texts me and he's like, well, I hadn't seen anything. Well, then it was probably 9:30. He's texting me again. And he's like, you wouldn't guess who was in front of the camera at 9:30, 20 yards from my spot. And I'm like, don't even tell me. I don't even want to know. And it just goes to show you those deer are there, whether or not those cameras are picking them up or not. And
100%.
Especially in the rut. In the rut, I tell people every day, if you have a chance to be in the woods in late October, early November, you better get in the woods.
Yep.
So, and I think that's a big thing.
Willing to sit because, dude, you never know. I mean, I know a lot of guys who will call it quits at like 9:30 in the morning and head in, and it's like, you know how many times I've seen a nice sized buck moving in the area at 11?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
No, I will sit my butt out there till 2, go home, take a nap, and come back out by 3:30.
Yeah, and I think that kind of goes in with prep too. Is prep your equipment and make it as comfortable as possible when you're out there. You don't want to be out there and be uncomfortable. And that was kind of our thing. Is we went with the saddles, and if you've never saddle hunted, I mean, I'm not trying to sway anybody in any way, but I'm a saddle hunter, and I actually hunt with an XOP saddle, which is about as cheap as you can get, and I modified it, did a bunch of stuff to it, but it's like sitting in a hammock all day. It's so comfortable. You can be out there all day long, and it's a game changer.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
Yeah, but that's comfort is king.
Oh yeah,
it's for sure. As long as you aren't too comfortable.
Yeah.
In my Summit Goliath stand, I might have taken a few too many naps. Just saying.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Sometimes too comfortable isn't bad. As a dad, you rarely have time to take naps, and so even if it's still a successful hunt if you could nap for 45 minutes and you go, wow, I
Some
feel
of the best
great.
sleep you'll ever have too.
I think anybody would be lying if they haven't napped in the woods, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, I was born to be in a fairy tale because anytime I'm laying down on a sunny slope, I'll always fall asleep. It's just field of wildflowers, perfect. I'll set up
Yeah.
there. Yep.
Did you
Yeah,
wake up to
one
the sound of
mistake.
music?
Yeah. A mistake that I've learned from number one is not bringing toilet paper. That's a big
Mm.
mistake, and you learn that one pretty quick. And then you have to hike out without your socks, and so you figure out really quick. Always bring extra toilet paper. Always bring extra water. That's another one. I've had a number of instances where it's like you're not out of water, but it's like, man, I don't have much left, and I was planning on being out here a lot longer. Always bring
Yep.
way more water than you need. And then
Yep.
specifically to bow hunting, I would say um, just breathing, just controlling your breathing up to, through, the shot, after.
Mm-hmm.
Like in practice, it's such a different scenario. And when you're out in the field and you have that adrenaline running, it's not something that you can really, I don't think, practice because you don't have those heightened situations when you're shooting in your backyard or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
specifically with bow hunting, I mean, that's a big one where you're controlling your breathing.
Yep. I would agree. And
I like
slowing
that.
down.
Yep.
Like when that buck fever hits, dude.
Oh,
Oof.
I
dude.
know. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't prepare for it, but once you've been
Mm-hmm.
out in the woods enough, then you kind of get the understanding of like, okay, I know that this is going to hit me, and now I know how to like mentally prepare for it so I can
Mm-hmm.
physically be ready for it.
Man,
Yep.
I get doe fever, man, early
Dude,
season. I
Deer
mean,
fever in general.
yeah. I mean,
Especially
shoot. I
if you've
mean,
gone days without seeing anything. It's like,
oh
oh,
man,
and then
I
when you
have
have
to
a
like it.
yeah, when you have a huge 6x6 bull running in
Oh,
right to you and he's just pissing all over the ground,
I
and then
can't
you're
even
pissing all
imagine
over the
that.
ground, and you're both just looking at each other, peeing everywhere.
I can only imagine. I think your form of hunting, I mean, being where you're at, and that's one cool thing is Kevin being a Missouri guy and me being a Kansas guy. It's we don't get to experience some of the stuff that Eli gets to experience with this big game stuff. And I got a buddy of mine, the one that actually got into archery with me, and he wants to do a big game hunt and a
mm-hmm.
traveled hunt, and I think it'd be a really cool thing. But there's a lot of preparation to something
Oh
like
my
that.
gosh. Yeah.
Well, hey, my
So.
house is always open. I'm 100% serious about that. Kevin's talked about coming up for an elk hunt, and seriously, if it's ever in the books for you at all, I'll frickin' take you out. You can come to
Yeah,
Idaho and have a place
that'd
to
be
stay.
awesome.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll just have to take another road trip out there.
Dude, I can only imagine that'd be so much fun. Even just to be involved in one and not even being
Mm-hmm.
a hunter out there would be surreal.
yeah,
Well, that's
it's
kind of the cool
crazy.
thing about.
It's
Oh, go
yeah.
ahead.
Oh, I was just saying with how biodiverse Idaho is. I mean, you get a kill and then you're out there the next day on that gut pile waiting for wolves and bear to show up. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
just a totally different world here that you're not seeing across a lot of the rest of the U.S.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Well, and they're pretty friendly. I was looking at all of that while I was there. Idaho is extremely friendly to outside hunters, and like if you can get your tag, that for one time you get a really cheap tag for like mountain lion, bear. I think the only one that was like super up there was moose.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I like the friendly thing. You know, we ran into some. I'm an avid turkey hunter too. Whether or not I've shot a turkey or not, that's a whole nother story. But I'm a turkey chaser. So
Yeah.
and I ran into a guy actually from Texas this year and ended up giving him some information, and he actually ended up getting on a bird the next day after I
That's
kind of
awesome.
gave him some information on what I heard, and man, the guy was so grateful. He was like, I don't know how many hunters I ran into that gave me a cold shoulder and didn't give him the piece of anything. Didn't want to tell him nothing. Didn't want to help him out. And I'm sitting there looking at this guy like he's away from his family. He's out here. He's hunting out of state. I mean, what is it going to hurt for me to say, hey, listen, this is where I'm hearing the birds? You know, he's still going to have to be the one that goes out there and does all the
Yeah.
work. And you know what? He did it. And he went way
That's
back
amazing.
in. he went about 4 miles back in and ended up shooting a bird, and I was actually hunting the same day. And it was just a cool thing to meet up with him afterwards. I actually took him back to his truck, and it was a cool thing being able to see him and the excitement and being able to be the one that kind of put him out in that spot, and then him making it happen was wild. So I'm all about helping out other hunters. I mean, that's what it's about. That's what the community needs to do. And I think that's a big deal.
Yep.
Yeah, and especially too now that, back I've been hunting my whole life, and growing up there's a bunch of old heads that don't share their spots and don't share their secrets and yada yada yada. And now on the other end of the spectrum, you have a bunch of people that got into bow hunting, especially during COVID, and they're just going and they're going to go tear up the forest, and they don't care how much they push around those animals or if they injure something or what have you. And so you kind of like, if you're a responsible hunter, you're kind of caught in between these two different, you got the old people that don't say anything and the new people that are trying to ruin the forest. And you're like in the middle, like, I just want to be friendly. I'm sorry. I'll help you guys, and it's a tough world. It is. But when you find people like that, like this guy from Texas, or like you being able to put him on a spot, like it really speaks volumes to the community as a whole when you run into people like that.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, and I would even go one step further. I think it's absolute paramount importance to, like, if you have somebody who is interested in one of these hobbies, like, don't be a stickler and just give them that cold shoulder. Like, bring them alongside of you. Teach them the proper ways. Like, show them what conservation really is about and how to properly handle game and handle the woods. Like, take them alongside you. Like, Taylor, you've said it many times, like, how rewarding it is to see that come full circle.
Oh, yeah.
That's what the hunting community and the fishing community should be about.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of those things where it's our responsibility to keep it going and to keep it alive. And it's a big deal, and people will need to realize, and you're always going to have those people that don't agree with it, and that's how it goes. I'm not there to convince everybody, but I'm definitely that guy that likes to show people what it's about, and just getting them in the woods, whether or not they're hunting or not. I mean, I don't know how many people I've brought into the woods that have just went out there to sit with me, and their experience might be completely different than mine, but it's always a positive. And that's what it's about.
That's awesome. Cool. All right, gents. What goes through your mind during the first sit of the season?
Oof. That's tough. The first, I mean, dude, I don't know about you guys, but we're chomping at the bit. We're counting down the minutes. We've actually got a family trip. We're flying to Florida, spending a week in Florida before hunting season. We kind of do that every year. We kind of do a big trip right before season. The last time we actually missed the opening day, like the opening week, and this year we planned our trip to make sure we're back before opening day. So, awesome. And Kansas it opens up on the 14th this year on a Monday. It's always on a Monday. The wife is chomping at the bit. We don't even have cameras out yet. That's on me. But
it's not like you're busy.
Yeah. And I think the first sit to me is just about learning the woods. That's the biggest thing to me. And I never go into the woods with the mindset of, I'm going to put down this big deer. And I'm not an antler chaser, really. I mean, if a buck walks out that I'm happy with, I'm not sitting there going, man, is that 120 or 130 or this or that. And I'll tell you guys straight up, I'm not passing on a 120-inch deer any day.
Yeah.
Nope.
So I'm there. We actually live off of deer meat most of the year. I mean, I've got a deep freezer out in the garage, and even just the other day, my wife made deer tacos, and we have actually, off her buck last year and my buck last year, we've made it most of the year. So for
Nice.
us, it's about the meat, and
Yeah.
we actually got some things going this year. Me and a buddy, we're gonna fill the freezers up, and our big thing is to try to put some does on the ground for donation. I've never done that. I've never donated meat, and I feel like, I mean, it's a $20 doe tag. If I could put a doe down and donate that meat to somebody in need, that would be awesome.
That's awesome, dude.
That's amazing.
So that's kind of our big
that.
thing. Yeah. So it's my buddy actually brought it up to me, and he's like, "What do you think about it?" And I'm like, "You know what? The doe tags. There's no way I'm gonna be able to clear all the doe tags that I'm given. I love hunting for does, and the aspect the meat's amazing, and I can fill the freezer." And then he goes, "Well, you get all these tags. Let's donate the meat. There's always places," and we actually reached out to a couple places, and they will. All we have to do is pay for our tag, go out there, do the hunt. They process the meat, they do it all, and it all goes to people in need. So
that's amazing.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we got a butcher in a town across the way from us that we actually used early season last year, because I've always processed my own meat. I don't know how you guys do it.
Same.
But I ran into some issues last year getting does on the ground early season when it's 85, 90 degrees. It's like, what do? You field dress the deer. You can start the processing, cleaning, and all that right then, or it's like I can take it here and drop it off, and I can pay this, and I know the meat's gonna be good.
Yeah.
And for us, we're not out there killing animals and hunting and doing this for the fun of it. We're doing it for the meat, and if I can't make sure that meat is preserved and is done the right way, I'm not gonna be out there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same.
So I think that's a big thing.
I think one of these episodes we're just gonna have to do like deer recipes.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude!
cool.
Eventually.
That's a good idea.
I've got some killer ones, man.
Yeah,
I got a
same.
meatloaf that'll put it down.
Nice. I was gonna say you bring up deer tacos. I remember there's a carne asada seasoning that you can find at like Sam's Club or Costco. I did some deer tacos with that one night, and like, oh my gosh,
Oh yeah.
so good. Also slider recipes. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Future episode, we're gonna have to have that at some point.
I love it.
That's amazing. Let's see here. Elijah, what about you? First day in the woods. What's going through the mind?
Usually I'm just so grateful to finally be out there again. It's such a short season here. It's a month long for bow season, and so maybe if you're lucky in a year, you might be able to go out a dozen times, and 8 of those times are in the evening for 3 hours after you get off work.
Yeah.
And so being able to get out, especially early season, like that first week, it's like, man, I'm glad I set time aside to be able to do this. That's like my first thought always, to just, cool, another year in this,
There you go. I would say that's kind of like me. I think there's such a build up to that first sit, and when I finally make it out there, it's just like, we're finally here. It's kind of like waiting for football season again. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
the moment it ends, you're already looking forward to the start. And so, yeah, it's just when I finally make it out there, it's like that sigh of relief. I'm like back home again, is what it is. So,
Yeah.
What is your best or most memorable hunt, and what made it so special?
Ooh, I've got a good one. I was probably, let's see, maybe 14 or 15 years old. Went out with my dad and one of his friends to Hell's Canyon, maybe about an hour and a half away from where I am. And we go out the day before, we get the campsite set up. All 3 of us are crammed in one tent. That night, there's a torrential downpour, and you figure out anytime it's raining and you're tenting that there's holes all over the tent, and so there's like an inch of water from this flash flood. We're trying to sleep and it's not working. You're shivering, you're freezing cold because it's early April. There's still snow on the mountain where we are up here. And so horrible night of sleep. We wake up at probably 6:30, hear turkey calling from their roosts. And so we get out, we're getting all dressed up. My dad and I go one way, his buddy goes a different way. We're sitting, the turkey come in, they spook from something, we chase them down, come over this little knob, and there's two jakes poking their heads up, and my dad and I both fire at the same time, and both dropped a turkey. So that was cool. We both got one at the same time. We get on the radio, say, hey, 2 turkey down, we're headed back to camp. Like 3 minutes later, we hear a gunshot. My dad's buddy, who was sitting over a log taking a dump, had turkey walk right past him, and so he grabs his shotgun from where he's pooping, and he kills one. And this is seriously, all of this is within 3 to 5 minutes maybe. And so what was like the worst night of my life in freezing mountain torrential downpour turns into us all getting a turkey. And being able to get that with my dad at the same time, is by far my favorite hunting experience.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I can't even kill a turkey. He kills one while he's taking a dump.
Right?
Maybe that's the secret, right?
Where's the irony in that, man? That's
You gotta
crazy.
find a log and take a dump over it.
Yeah.
Man, this is going on my second year, and man. I'll tell you what, I learn something every year, and it's awesome. Oh man, that is too much.
We're gonna have to come up with some really good term for shooting a gobbler while taking a dump.
Yeah.
Man, I would say my most memorable hunt had to have been. I didn't even get anything down on the ground this day, but I actually remember it pretty vivid. It wasn't even a time where I actually was successful, but we did Thanksgiving with my dad, which actually lives down the street from me. We live on the same street, which is
Cool.
awesome. So, and my brother lives on the same street as me, and so does my grandpa. So we kind of got a little community
it's your
here.
street, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So, but we were at my dad's, and I was like, man, I actually went out Thanksgiving morning. My wife let me go out Thanksgiving morning. I back out of the woods. I seen a lot of deer activity. Everything was moving, and everything was having I get out of the woods, and we have Thanksgiving lunch, and we're all sitting there and just talking and having a good time. And I'm like, man, listen, the deer are moving right now. The weather's perfect. That's all I can think about. And my wife looks at me and goes, listen. My wife looks at me and goes, go, just go. And I'm like, that's all I needed, And I was like, listen, sorry guys, I'm out. So I get back in the woods, I get back up in the tree, and if I don't have the most amazing hunt, it was just perfect weather, nice and cold, but I seen more bucks fighting and getting after it, just all that rut activity. And just sitting there watching them, and I was almost just mesmerized on how many deer came through. Mm-hmm. And then I've got probably 8 or 9 bucks that are just, mind you, on a piece of public, and they're all just sitting there fighting and doing their thing. There's does running around, and then it's like almost like the fish just scatter. And I'm like, well, what's going on there? And if this big mainframe 12 didn't walk out, and he's walking out with a limb, and you can just tell he's the big man. It's his area, And he comes in at 40 yards, and he's raking an evergreen tree. And at this time, I was hunting with an old bear bow that I had. I think it was like a Bear Lights Out. Definitely some old technology and whatnot. But I remember I'm shaking so bad, and he comes in 40 yards. He's raking that tree. And that deer never did give me a shot. I drew back a couple times trying to get a shot on him, but he ended up walking into the thick timber. But to this day, I could just remember when he walked out and the smoke coming out of just the breathing and the smoke coming out from the cold. And those bucks just took off, dude. They just didn't know what to do. And you're just like, that right there is a memory where you could just see it and go, wow, that is crazy. And if you weren't there to see it, it's hard to even explain it to somebody.
Yeah, that's like a hunter's dream right there, right?
Yeah. And that's what it felt like. You almost feel like you're
Man.
dreaming. You're like, man, should I pinch myself? Like, what's going on,
Yeah. That's crazy. For me, I don't know. Like that, hearing that story actually kind of reminded me of one that happened not this last year, but the year before for me. Like, I went out early one morning, got out in my perfect spot that I had shot my first buck at, and hadn't seen anything like during what would quote unquote be the peak hour of movement. And I heard something behind me, and I was sitting kind of tucked in between some evergreens, so I had my shooting lane clear right out in front of me. But this guy came in, and I mean, he was, golly, that deer had to been pushing 7 foot tall from ground to the top of his antlers. I mean, big buck. And I got winded. It's the first time that ever happened to me. But he stopped behind me. I mean, maybe 10 foot, if that, and was stomping. And yeah, just very, very, very memorable hunt. But I think my favorite would be that first buck that I hit. Like, I was still really new, was doing bow hunting, and it had just swapped over to gun season, and so I was just wanting to get some meat in the freezer. And so I went out for an afternoon hunt, which I never had any luck doing. Like, never saw anything on any of my afternoon hunts. And went out there with my shotgun. Like, I had bolted from work, which I was clear over in Shawnee, Kansas. And I live over in, towards Grandview, Missouri. And so drove home, packed up, took my shotgun out with a slug, and sat. And sure enough, my buck showed up, like 9 point, big boy. Like, it took everything in me just to drag him, and I had to end up phoning in a buddy just to help me drag it the rest of the way because I was about ready to drop. But that to this day is probably my favorite hunt. So
That's cool.
First deer happened to be a 9 point buck. Kind of tough.
Hey, you can't beat that. You can't beat that.
Set the bar a little high there, Kevin.
So sometimes it works out,
That bar again. It's been itching, like I need another buck. But yeah,
This year
it'll come. This is your year, yeah.
I'm hoping. Like, I need more time out in the woods this season for sure. What is the craziest thing that has ever happened to you guys on a hunt?
Well, I mean, my story has got to be the craziest. Just everything that led to that. I think that's the coolest and the craziest.
I think
that's kind of hard to. It's kind of hard to beat that,
Yeah.
Man, I don't know if I've had a real crazy experience. Actually, my public land buck I got this year was kind of a crazy experience. I ended up shooting a big mainframe, typical 9-pointer on public land out here in my area, not too far from my house. Actually, it's a place that a lot of people travel. A lot of out-of-staters go to this area, and people talk it down a lot. And I ended up spending a lot of time out there, and I actually shot a buck from a blind on the ground. I actually shot this buck from like 6 yards away. I actually have it on video.
Whoa.
And he was kind of quartered away from me just a little bit, and I put it perfectly right behind him, right behind the shoulder, right where I needed it to be. The shot placement was perfect. I gave him plenty of time. I heard him I thought I heard him crash. He runs around, I lose sight of him, and I hear him just breaking every tree going through the woods. And I'm shaking. I'm by myself. I call my brother because he's always the guy. I call him first, and he's always the guy that helps me drag the deer out. Is the reason why I call him first. So I call him like, "Hey, dude, what are you doing?" Is the first thing. And but we ended up tracking that deer. We ended up finding him, but we tracked him for. I mean, it had to have been miles and miles and miles. We actually ended up getting a hold of the game warden and said, "Hey, we got blood going on to private. What do we do?" And he said, "If you got good blood, keep going. Yep. Until someone tells you to stop, keep going." And we never ran into issues with bumping into any landowners or nothing, but we ended up tracking him over quite a few purple fences and underneath barbed wire fences, and he'd go onto a piece of private, and he'd go back on public, and here I am, we got our flashlights out, and I'm like, man, look at that rub on that tree. And my brother, he's irritated at this time. We've been out there for hours, and he's like, listen, let's just focus on the blood, you know? And I'm like, okay, well, if it doesn't, if that deer didn't go right over to that rub, man, and he's just murdering this tree, he's just taking this evergreen and just rubbing this evergreen, and you could just see the blood just on both sides of the tree. And I'm like, this deer doesn't even know he's hit. You know, he's just doing his normal thing. I ended up killing him. It was October 28th. I shot him at like 5:45 in the evening. And like I said, when we ended up finding him that night, I think we found him at like 10:45, 11 o'clock.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm ecstatic. I pretty much tripped over him.
Dude.
I trip over him, and I'm like, oh, he's right here, you know. Real nice big buck. We ended up thinking he was like a 7.5-year-old deer, which is crazy for a public land deer.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
And the look on my face is all excitement. And I look over at my brother, and he's like, I'm like, are you not happy? He's like, dude, how are we going to get this deer out of here? All he's worried about is there's no way this deer is getting out of the woods. And I tell you what, we drugged that deer. And that was the thing. The game warden said, hey, you know, out of respect for the landowners, we would rather you guys get that deer off the private and get it back onto public before you do any dressing of the deer. And I'm like, well, right on. Yeah, you know, that's the right thing to do. But, man, I tell you, we had miles of dragging before we even got to public.
Oh, my gosh.
And it was rough. I mean, we were going up and down hills, and everything at the time was still green. I mean, it doesn't start dying off until later in November. So I mean, we're crawling over grass, we're sweating, and that was probably the biggest. It was like, man, that was a big deal, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I think the wildest one for me, the craziest thing that's ever happened, I was out in Moberly, Missouri. My chiropractor / friend, his family has 75 acres of private property that like his dad and his dad's brother and I think his grandpa own. And so we all go out there hunting. My buddy, I didn't get anything. I've still not gotten a deer out there, which, yeah, we won't discuss that. But my buddy shot one, and we had a really good blood trail, and so we were tracking it down. And I mean, we had done circles around the property at this point, tracking this deer. And finally, we come to a stream, and we see a deer that is floating in the stream. And it looks like a cougar had ripped into the rear haunch of it. And it's like, we'd only been tracking this thing for about 45 minutes to maybe an hour. And so in that time, and I mean, it was for sure his deer. His name's Chris, because his arrow was still stuck in it.
That's funny.
But like in that hour of time, a cougar had like ripped into the entire back haunch of the deer. So like one leg was completely not salvageable. But yeah, that's by far the craziest thing that's ever happened, especially in Missouri. Like, we don't have that many mountain lions.
Probably peeking at you that whole time, too, from behind a tree.
Like, just waiting for one of you guys,
yeah. Talking about that kind of creepy feeling that you're walking through the woods in the dark.
Dude.
Oh, man. I don't know how I mean, I'm telling you, I've had some crazy stories walking into the woods, man. I mean, that's rough.
Low light situations, you see things. You see things.
Oh, man, everything you hear, like, you hear something, you're like, what is that?
It's like, I know that there's a girl in a white dress just standing there. It's like around every corner and every tree. Right. And when you get it in your mind, you can't get it out until it finally gets light. That's why morning hunts aren't as bad, because you know it'll get light eventually. When it starts getting dark and it's getting darker and darker, you're like, dude, I gotta get the heck out of here.
I'm ready to go. Yeah.
Well, especially on public land. Like, I don't know how bad public land is in Kansas, but it scares the bejesus out of me.
Yeah, it's different.
Public land in Missouri.
Well, and that kind of makes me think about how Eli's situation. I'm sure your land is completely different than what we're hunting out here. I mean,
100%.
we might have a 20-acre plot here and a 20-acre plot here and maybe a 5-acre plot over here. You're probably dealing with stuff. You're walking into the woods is different than ours. I mean, everything's different.
Yeah. It's 25 million miles or something like that. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's all public.
Yeah.
What would we do with that much land? We wouldn't even know where to start.
Dude, it's nuts. My younger brother shot a bull last year during bow season, and he tracked it over 2 days. I can't remember the exact amount, but it was like 34, 36 miles over 2 days. And it's like 4,500 foot in elevation change that he's going up and down because we're in the Rockies out here.
Oh.
And like, dude, it's a completely different world. That's what I'm saying. Like, you guys need to get out here for a hunt. It'd be freaking awesome.
Yeah, I think we're actually going to try to do some prep this year. We wanted to kind of stretch out of our element and maybe go to like do a Western Kansas mule deer hunt.
Oh yeah.
But our prep to kind of do a big game hunt or to do an out of state hunt is just getting out of our element, and hunting public land and hunting those areas that are just a little bit farther out, or even just doing a weekend hunt where we're taking the tents out, me and a couple buddies, and we're just doing a weekend kind of campsite hunt site thing, you know. So because I think it's a lot of preparation, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys, where both of you guys are, you don't really have muleys there, do you? It's just whiteys.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. I've never seen a mule deer out here. I know it's not that far. I mean, like I said, Wichita, which is probably only about 3 hours from here, you're going to see some muleys.
Yep.
But it's a completely different way of hunting. I mean, trying to get up into a tree out there, good luck. I mean, you might only see one tree for a mile.
Yeah. Well, or you're hunting fields and you have that old like wind divide on the fields. That's about the only thing that's going to be tall enough to climb in. You're going to have to cut so much to climb one of those suckers.
I think it would be a blast to get out there and experience something like that, and that's something we definitely want to do as well.
Mm-hmm.
It is wild, like, because my way of hunting, you know, we're thick timber everywhere here, and so you're not in a tree stand, you're not in a ground blind, you're walking the ground and hoping you find something. You know, you might set up a blind in a wallow for elk season, or set up in a tree, or if you're baiting a bear, you'd set up in a tree or a blind. But other than that, like, your boots on the ground, and it's just like, let's see how many miles I can cover today, and hopefully something pops up.
God. That makes us seem really lazy. Just like, we might walk in 2 miles, but then we're gonna sit on our tails the rest of the day.
Well, and my thing is we've tried the spot and stock, the moving around, the walking, and these deer out here. I mean, you crunch something and you'll just see tails up and you see them running, and you're like, listen, this ain't the answer.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's people that can do it, but I'm not that good at it. I've tried.
Well, and it's just not that style out there, right? Like, you have to be able to hunt them the way that you can hunt them.
Yeah, I think you just adapt. You adapt to how the deer move, and like I said, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's the hunting public guys. They're pretty good at getting in there on the ground and doing a lot of spot and stock hunting. I've seen those guys hunt some crazy ways, but every time I've tried to do it personally, I must just not have a good enough, light enough foot or being able to see these deer. Because I mean, I don't know how many deer I bump like that. I'm like, it's just too hard for me.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter anyway, right? You're trying to put meat in the freezer. The most efficient way
that's what
that
it's
you
about.
can do that. Yeah, exactly.
Yep, 100%. Although I will have to say, like, they do seem to spook really easy with noise and crunching, particularly. But all of this smell gear, you know, the descenting and everything. My chiropractor's dad goes out with a 5-gallon bucket, sits with his back against a tree, smoking a cigarette, not in camo, and drinking his coffee, and still seems to get a deer every year. I
can definitely go in on that. I mean, I actually started out hunting. I used to buy the Scentaways. I used to do the shampoos. I used to do all that. And I've come to realize I mean, if these deer's noses are 1,000 times stronger than a dog, you aren't tricking their nose.
No,
You got to
no.
play the wind. If you're not playing the wind, I don't care what you're putting out there. I know they've got Onyx systems and this and that. I mean, I'm telling you, I've never beat a deer's nose.
no.
So I don't even use the Centaways anymore. I don't believe in it. I'm a wind guy. If the wind's not in my favor, I'm not hunting that spot.
Yep.
Yeah, it's wind and it's how much the animals in the area have been pushed, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Those
Pressure,
are bigger
yeah.
factors than anything else.
Yeah, I agree with
100%.
that. And that's why I love early season. That early season
know,
window. And I
oh.
tell people that first week, I mean, for us it's that first week, like September 14th through the whatever, but that first week when there's nobody in the woods and no one's pressuring those deer, they don't have a clue.
Nope.
Yep.
Your
So,
odds
and
go way up.
I know it's hot, it's brutal, but you got to get out there and you got to put the time out there because that's when you see the big uns.
Yeah.
Cool beans. What similarities do you guys see between either being at home or being on a job site and out hunting?
Yeah, we
Mindset.
kind of talked about this a little
Mhm.
bit on our last podcast. We just hinted on it, but I think paying attention to detail is a really big thing.
Yep.
And you can kind of cultivate that at work or at home, and then you can carry it over into hunting. And it changes so many aspects of your hunt when every step of the way you're paying attention to the details. What gear works best? What gear works best for me? What area works best? What time of year? What time of day? There's so many variables, and if you're paying attention to the details, your rate of success just grows astronomically.
I love that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great.
What about you, Taylor?
For me, I think I mean, the patience thing is a big deal for me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just like I said with the kids and everything else, but
You have to work on that more than we do.
oh man, I'm telling you what, man, because if it's not daddy 24/7, and my son can't talk right now, thankfully, but I know he's right there,
soon.
and it's just daddy this, daddy that, look at this, watch me do this handstand, watch me
Oh
jump
my
off the
gosh.
couch,
Yep.
and I think that's a big deal with the hunting in general, but I think another thing is adapt, like you said, adapting, being able to be flexible and learning what the deer are doing, because I think too many people get set in stone on a certain stand, a certain way of hunting, and deer are super smart in the aspect. If you're walking in there, I don't know how you guys are on our piece of private. I'm real keen on how many times I go out there. I like when I'm changing my camera batteries out and stuff, I wear gloves. I try to be as adaptable as possible because I've seen it happen time and time again. And my brother will argue this to me to this day, but he thinks the big bucks will get used to your scent and will just get used to being out there. And I'm like, listen, those deer have gotten matured. They're big. They're smart. They don't want the pressure. They go, hey, listen, this field over here's got food. I'm going to go over there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
100%.
being adaptive and learning, and it goes with my kids too, is I got to adapt when my son's growing. My daughter wants to go 24/7, and there's a happy medium there on being able to take care of both of the kids and still be able to get the things done around the house and the things done outside. And so there's a lot of adaptation there.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a really good answer.
That is. Yeah, I was gonna say, you guys. I was gonna talk about the patience thing. You hit that. I love the adaptability, especially given what you and I both do. And yeah, attention to detail. That skill set is probably, in my opinion, especially as a bow hunter, one of the biggest advantages in the woods. It's so funny because you see all the memes where the wife is talking about how their husband can't find anything in the house, but they can spot a deer 300 yards out.
Oh yeah. That's so true too.
Oh yeah, it's 100% true. So yeah, I think you guys nailed it on the head. I love
that.
those answers. this one wasn't on my list, but since all three of us are dads, how have you guys encouraged slash gotten your kiddos into the outdoor sports?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Kevin.
Well, I asked that because Taylor and I had a little bit of this conversation when we met for that Facebook deal.
We did.
His way that he's teaching his kids is amazing.
Yeah, so. It's great. Yeah, it's one of those things. So my father-in-law, he calls my daughter feral. He goes, "Oh, your daughter's feral. She's feral." Because, I mean, they live in the city, you know, and my daughter, she loves being outside. I mean, if it doesn't matter if it's 200 degrees outside, she wants to be outside. And my poor son, you know, she wants to go on the golf cart. She wants to go and ride around the lake or go see the deer. And but we actually got her a little bow. And it's so funny because she actually watches me shoot and she understands it. You know, every time I've actually got my recurve sitting back here. I've been practicing with my recurve. My bow is actually at the shop. It's actually with a buddy of mine. He's actually doing strings on my bow as we speak. They're supposed to be done any day now. But she'll watch me shoot and she understands it. She understands, and I'm honest with her on stuff. I'm like, when we're eating, I'm like, oh, this is deer. You know, we're gonna eat deer tacos, and I want them to know. You know, I want them to understand that it's a normal thing. Yep. And she's got this little kid's bow with a little dart on it, and I ended up modifying it and putting some real nocks on the back. And
that's cool.
She walks around the house. She hunts my dogs. She's pretty with it, you know. She doesn't play around. And it's funny. I mean, she knows when I'm getting my bow and stuff. She's like, "Oh, you're going to get deer, and you're going to go get deer." And I'm like, "Well, not yet, but we're planning on it, you know. That's the plan."
That's
so
awesome.
I think that's what it's about, getting them into that and letting them know that it's a normal thing and normalizing it is a big deal, especially, I mean, she's 2.5 and she already understands it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think like just living out that lifestyle, like what you're talking about, Taylor, is, I think that goes a long way with kids. I've got my 5-year-old, he'll be 5 next month. He's now gone out with me the last 2 years. So I'll take him out deer hunting and then turkey hunting. I took him out duck hunting once. But now this year, you can kind of see like the fruits of the labor. He's excited to go hunting with Dad instead of just like, oh, what are we doing? What's this? What's this? What's this? And you can see it kind of like the wheels turning in his head at 5 years old, where it's like, this is something now that I can look forward to doing, and just continue to pour into that. So when he's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I'd like to have a 25-year-old son that says, "Hey, Dad, you want to go hunting with me?"
Oh man, ain't that it right there? That's the answer.
And not like selfishly that like, okay, I'm gonna get you into it at a young age, so you want to do it with me when you're older, you know. But it's like, dude, just and understanding the benefits. Like, you want to eat organic, like everybody does nowadays. Here you frickin' go. Let's have some venison. Let's go out and harvest. And being able to, 2 years ago when I got a doe, being able to butcher it at home and have him see it and look, you can poke the meat, you can touch the skin, you know, all these different things that you're dealing with here in your life. And I think that has helped a lot with being able to grow that in my kids.
Yep. That reminds me, like, my eldest, this last time I got a deer, she was carrying around the deer ankle with the hoof. Playing with it.
That's great.
Yeah, I think getting it introduced to them, making it normal, like, and there's also just an appreciation when you know where your food comes from and how it was processed and all that good stuff. I've been desperately trying to get my daughter into fishing. She is, for whatever reason, all of a sudden afraid of fish.
Oh yeah.
It's that phase, but I'm hoping this next year, she turns 4 in September, right before deer season actually starts. So I'm hoping this next year to get her like out shed hunting and just walk in the woods. I don't think she's ready to go sit in the woods yet. She's She's pretty active.
Yeah.
If I did that, it would last maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah. I love the shed hunting. I do love that. The shed hunting is a big deal. That's kind of how I got my daughter into it. Actually, her first shed she ever found is actually sitting right behind me. This guy here.
Dang.
Cool.
So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
it was bigger than her. So she found it here in our lake property, dude. And once she figured out that it was kind of a big deal to find them, dude, she loves it. She loves it.
That's awesome.
And,
that gives me hope.
And it's a great way to get out there and get a lot of walking in the woods and activity and getting the kids out walking around. That is, I put her on I always put her on my shoulders, and we just start walking, and it's a blast.
That's awesome. That's awesome. How has hard work, this is for you mostly, Elijah, how does hard work for a living change the way you look at hunting and success in the outdoors? And this would also apply, Taylor. I mean, as we've already said, being a stay-at-home parent is no walk in on the beach. Like it's a lot of work.
Yeah, how has it changed? What was it? How has it changed how I feel
The
about
way
hunting?
that you look at hunting and spending time in the outdoors.
Yeah, I think I just get more of an appreciation for it. As you get older, you get less and less time. I remember being a teenager and you're done with school and you can go and do whatever the heck you want after school gets out, right? Every single day and every single weekend is free. And so it just, you feel like you're out all the time. And now as an adult, like I said, like you might get a couple evenings and one or two Saturdays and that's it. And so I think working hard to be able to be in a situation where I can take some time off during hunting season really makes me appreciate it.
Yeah. What about you, Taylor?
I would say, that's a tough one. I think it's just there's a lot to juggle, I guess, is the kind of the hard thing. Like I said, I mean, especially with my wife being a hunter too. Sometimes I appreciate it more when she gets the time to go out and hunt because, it's hard to, I mean, like I said, she goes out and works all day and then coming home and you almost feel a little bit of guilt where you're like, hey, I get to go run out into the woods and she gets to stay home with the kids, Yeah. It's like she almost gets to double. Yeah, she gets to double down, and it's like, so I don't know. I think that's kind of, it does. It makes you really appreciate it. I think that's where it boils down to is the appreciation is where it's at. I think that's the biggest thing for sure.
Yep. Well, not to jump on the bandwagon, but yeah, 100%. I think, especially as you're working your tail off, whether it be at home with the kiddos, every moment that you get to spend outdoors, whether it's hunting, it's fishing, or just camping, or just sitting on the front porch, like you just come to appreciate it. I think that goes in line with getting older as well. Like the older I get, the more I appreciate the outdoors every time.
Yeah.
So I can agree with that for sure.
I like what you said, Kevin, like any aspect of that. When my wife and kids came back from Wisconsin, they got back Sunday afternoon. That Sunday evening, we went out and we picked huckleberries. Just anything, being able to get out and do anything outdoors in the woods. It's, you really get that feeling like, oh, cool. This is a stress reliever. This is awesome.
I love that.
Yeah.
So what keeps you guys coming back? Take away the gear, the prep, the practice, the stalking and harvesting, and what makes you guys like bleed hunting? Why is it such a passion?
I would say the peace that it brings. The peace and the rejuvenation that just, it doesn't even have to be hunting, but that the outdoors brings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me in a hunting aspect, I would say it's the knowing where my meat comes from and the connect, like being connected to the meat is a big deal to me. It's it's like I went out there, I processed that meat, I had my hands on it. It's something about it, like even when you're eating. I mean, my wife went on vacation with the kids. They went to Branson and did a little vacation, and while they were gone, I was like, I'm taking some of these tenderloins out of the freezer, and I'm gonna smoke some tenderloins on the pellet smoker,
Heck yeah.
and sitting there eating it. And I'm just like, man, it doesn't get any better than that,
Yeah,
And
dude.
I think that's what keeps you going for it, and you just know that your kids are eating good. The meat they're getting. I mean, I don't want to get into all the processing and all the stuff that kids are eating nowadays, but man, it's like, how do you know what kids are eating and the bleaching of the meats and this and that? It's like, I know where that came from, and my family is eating good quality food.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%.
So
that.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I kind of said mine earlier. It's just you're chasing that feeling that you had when you were a kid, and
Yep.
whatever that feeling was, that's what you're chasing every time you go out into the woods. And it's like I think you said it, Taylor. You can't explain it to somebody that's never experienced
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And
It's a hard thing to explain, man,
I
until you're
know.
out
Yep.
there. And
it's like jumping out of an airplane. I don't know.
and I'm telling you, if anyone can get the opportunity to take somebody out into the woods with them that hasn't been there, whether it's for shed hunting, whether it's for fishing, whether it's for going out on a pontoon boat or this or that, or just enjoying the outdoors in general, I think it can really make an impact.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would
So
agree.
my goal in life is to not raise an iPad kid.
Dude,
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen to that. We need
So,
more parents that
We're
are
going to
willing
make the
to commit to that.
generations good again. We got to get them away from that stuff.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, gents. What is the one hunting memory, and I'm going to extend this to fishing memory as well, that you could tell 100 times over, and it never gets old, never gets tired?
I told you mine, Kevin, when we were out salmon fishing, but when I caught that chicken salmon fishing, that's one of my favorite stories. That might also be the crazy, but I guess it's not a hunting story, it's a fishing
Yeah,
story.
that is a freaking crazy story.
I caught a chicken when we were salmon fishing. I thought I
How does that even happen?
It died. It died upstream from a farm, maybe fell into the river and drowned. I have no idea. But
Wow.
caught a fresh dead chicken while I was salmon fishing. That's crazy.
Oh man, that is something. How do you even explain that?
Oh, dude, it was so funny.
When he told me that while we were out salmon fishing, I was like, I don't know if I'm ever going to have a story that tops that one.
Yeah. You almost got it. You're like, this dude's pulling my leg. Like, I don't know what. Like, there's no way.
Only in Idaho.
Yep.
I think a story that I could tell over and over again. It was actually on a piece of private that we have out in Lane, Kansas. It's actually the place my wife shot her first ever deer buck while she was pregnant this last year. But me and my buddy went out, and we struggled all archery season, going out hunting hard, and he was actually going after his first ever deer, and we were in the blind, and we're actually hunting with he was hunting with his grandpa's lever action 30-30.
Oh wow.
And really a cool gun, iron sights, and I'm like, this is cool. We're sitting in this blind, we're shooting the crap, and he's like, well, man, you want to get out of here? It was freezing cold. It was in December. And I'm like, no, let's give it 10 more minutes. We're here. Let's just relax. Give it 10 more minutes. Well, 10 minutes go by, and I was like, dude, let's just give it 10 more minutes. And I'm like, you got to keep telling yourself that. Well, dude, if this big doe didn't walk in at 20 yards, she comes walking in and just walking right in front of the blind. And he goes, man, he looks at me and he goes, is it all right if I shoot through the mesh of your blind? And I'm like, dude, if the doe won't give you a shot, for sure, shoot through the mesh. I was like, but if she's going to walk right out in front of the window, Dude, it wasn't 2.5 seconds later. He's gripping that 30-30, and he just he rips the trigger. This doe's coming in. He was so excited. He hadn't got an opportunity on a doe and his first ever deer. And dude, I'm telling you, I didn't even get the words out of my mouth. You could shoot through the mesh, and next thing I know, just boom. And that 30-30, and my ears were ringing. There was no, hey, let me plug my ears. There was nothing. It was just, and to this day, every time I pop that blind open and I see that little bullet hole out of that Ameristep blind mesh, I'm like, that is it right there. And that's what it's about, because the adrenaline and everything else. And you know what? It's crazy because I actually shot my buck, my first ever buck, in the same exact spot he shot this doe.
That's cool.
And she runs around 30 yards, and then I see her fall in the woods. And he's, you know, if your first instinct as a hunter is, did I hit her? Did I hit him in a lethal spot? Did I do the right thing? Did everything go the way I wanted it to?
Mm-hmm.
And we're trailing her. I already knew she was down, and we trail it, and then boom, there she was, and the excitement and everything else, and that's what it was about, you know. So I can always remember that hunt, even though it wasn't me hunting. I remember that, and him shooting through that mesh on that blind.
That's so funny, dude.
It was great, man. It was so awesome.
When you retire that blind, you need to give it to that buddy.
Yeah, I need to cut a little. I need to cut the hole. Yeah, cut the hole of the.
Put it in a shadow box and give it to her.
Yeah, and that's another reason why I love going out with people that, for one, haven't done it before and haven't experienced it, because it's like you'll never relive that moment in the same way again. Oh, yeah. It's like, and being able to experience that is unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna shift gears and go fishing, because I haven't had that hunting situation yet, where it's a story that I could tell over and over and over again. I mean, the cougar one is pretty close, but my first trout, it was actually at Shawnee Mission Park Lake here in Kansas City. I had just gotten freshly into fly fishing and was out there. It was like beginning of November. It was one of those Novembers where we actually had some cold weather. So it was kind of a nippy morning, probably down in the 50s. And I was throwing a woolly bugger out on the backside of the lake, kind of in the creek area, and, you know, it hit, and I had never fought a trout before. And
that's
my
awesome.
Goodness, is that a different fight than a bass.
Especially fly fishing. That's cool, man.
Mm-hmm. And so I got this fish up, and it was the one day that I freaking forgot my net.
Oh.
And so I'm like trying to figure out how to get this thing up on shore. And I mean, it was easily a 5-pound trout. I couldn't get my hand around this thing.
Man, that's crazy.
And so I tried to get it up, and it slipped out and fell back into the water. Got it back up again. It snapped my line that time. Fell back in the water. I got it up a third time, trying to just get a flipping picture of the darn thing. And it flopped back in, and I couldn't get it. But
that is wild.
Oh, dude, it was just crazy, and it's like, you know, I could tell that, and nobody necessarily would believe it, because I still don't have that picture.
That's how it goes, you know, and that's what makes nature so fun, and it plays tricks on you. It really does.
Yeah, 100%. But it to this day is one of the most memorable fishing, you know, memories to date.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
Yep. Taylor, since Elijah had to pull away for a second, who had the biggest influence on you when it came to hunting, fishing, the outdoors?
I would say it was funny because I didn't grow up in a family that hunted and fished and did all those things. I mean, my dad, we've been coming down to the lake, actually, where I live here in Lynn Valley. We've been coming down here since I was since I was a kid, you know. And so I think my dad really had a big influence on me on just being outdoorsy and being out in we'd come down here, we'd fish on the weekends. Our campground was right down the street from a pond, and I mean, I've got stories of catching 5-pound bass and doing that kind of stuff as a kid and holding up a bass. My dad's got a picture of me holding up a bass that he caught that's bigger than I am right out here at these lakes. And mind you, they're all stocked and they're all got feeders. And so, the fish get crazy out here. It'd be a cool place for you to come fish. I think you would really enjoy it.
Yeah.
So, especially here on the main lake, we've got smallmouth and largemouth and walleye and kind of all the cool things that most
Nice.
lakes don't have, with it being spring fed. But yeah, I think
Yeah.
my dad was the biggest influence on me on the just being outdoorsy and stuff. But I had a family friend of mine that actually passed away from a heart attack a couple years back. But he was like, you know what? He was always a big fisher and stuff. He's like, man, have you ever hunted? And I was never really a hunter. And he kind of just lit that fire in me, and going out with him. And he was a rifle hunter and this and that, but being able to go out and experience that with him. And then I just kind of ran with it. And then I wouldn't say I lost it for a couple years, but it was like once he passed away, I kind of got out of it a little bit and wasn't involved in it. And then my brother and my best friend that lives next door wanted to get back into hunting, and ever since then we never looked back. It's a way of life now.
There you go.
So
Nice. What about you, Elijah?
My dad.
I figured.
Yeah. And sorry, I was doing the pee dance for like the last 20 minutes. I'm like, dude,
Oh, you're all
I
good.
gotta go. We still got a few minutes left here, and I don't think I can hold it. So,
Yep.
but yeah,
That's-
my dad is my biggest influence. I mean, my dad and my mom, they both, we grew up with both of them hunting, and so being able to just grow up in that environment, like what we want to raise our kids in.
Yep. Yep.
Easy answer.
100%. I was gonna say, for me, it was my grandma. My parents were both disabled in the '90s from car wrecks, and so my dad was never an outdoors guy, nor my mom. But my mom's mom, was an avid fisher, and so she, probably at 3 years old, I was out fishing with her at a little lake out in Winfield, Kansas. And that really is what lit it. And then my chiropractor buddy has actually got me into hunting, because he's like,
oh yeah.
have you ever thought about it? He's like, I'll teach you how to bow hunt, and I still have not been taught by him at all. I was like, cool, I got a bow. When do you want to go out? And trying to get that boy to land a date or anything is next to impossible.
Yeah, you just had to do it on your own, you know.
Yeah, I did, but I'm so thankful that he mentioned it, because that's why I got into it. So
Yeah. Well, I think that's why I like what Elijah said there about us getting, because that was kind of my big thing, is I didn't get into hunting until my early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, if I could have experienced the things that I experienced then when I was younger,
100%.
my life would have been different, you know.
Oh,
and
yeah,
that's where
yeah.
I want my kids to experience those things at a lot younger age.
Yep, 100%.
So-
What is one thing that hunting, outdoors, fishing has taught you in life that you didn't expect?
Probably be a good steward of the things that you can be a good steward of.
Yeah.
Again, there's so many people that'll go out and not take care of the place that they've been in, like not put out a campfire, leave garbage everywhere, leave shelves
Mhm.
laying around it, and just that, again, learning it from a really young age. But I'm glad I did, right? And I hope I can pass that on to my kids too. Is you have a responsibility now as a hunter to follow these guidelines and take ethical shots. Make sure interactions with other people are healthy. Like there's a ton. I could go on and on, but
Yeah, I love that. I think for me, it would have to be. I would have to say it's probably like taking the, because I mean, when hunting is so tough anyway. It's some people look at it like it's an easy thing. It's not an easy thing, but looking at the positives in every hunt and taking that in on your day to day, like it could be one little positive that can just change everything.
yeah,
And I think that's what it's about for me, and especially in a hunting aspect, is no matter how hard the hunt is, there's a positive to take out of it.
Yep.
And it's the same goes for life. You know, life is hard, it's tough. You deal with things, you get thrown loops, you get stay-at-home dad priorities, and then you're all of a sudden, your whole life changes, you know, and it's taking the positive out of it is the biggest thing for me.
Yep. Yeah, I love that. That's a hard one to top or follow. I mean, we've hit on the patience thing many a times. I am always dumbfounded. Like, I've always considered myself a patient person, but how much that has increased since I've been in the outdoors is just baffling to me. And being able to bring that back home and teach my kids that same patience is probably the biggest surprise to me from just being an outdoors guy. So, but I love, you know, I think another thing, kind of to follow in line with what Elijah said, like learning how to teach people and bring them along in that outdoors journey is another kind of surprising thing. I didn't think, I've always been kind of an introvert. And so finding the joy in getting people to come alongside has been a bit of a surprise to me as well. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Let's see here. Last question for this section. When you look at the next generation, which we've discussed quite a bit, what do you hope they learn from spending time in the woods with you, or in general?
I mean, like you said, Kevin, we've covered that quite a bit already. I think conservation is the big answer there, right? Like, this is something that the nation has taken a concerted effort to be able to allow certain species to repopulate, and now we have tag limits. I mean, look at the bison when trains were going across the U.S. and how they were almost completely wiped out. Since that point, conservation has been a huge thing in the U.S., and we really are blessed to be able to get a tag for something and go out and hunt it.
Yep.
And I'd say for the younger generation, just to be able to carry that on, like, you want to do this with your kids someday, even if you don't know it yet, and you'll want to do it with your grandkids, and you'll want that to continue. And I think all three of our answers would probably be the same in that, is that even long after we're gone, that this is still a rite and a ritual that can still be practiced in America.
Yeah, I think you hit it spot on. And I like how you emphasize on the blessing thing. And I think that's the biggest thing, is it's a blessing for our kids to be able to go out and do that. And man, I mean, every second is a blessing, no matter what you're doing. Yeah. So, and that conservation is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and then to tag on to that, like, the conservation, I think, is definitely the number one, but the number two thing that I want this next generation to really pick up from spending time in the outdoors is not just that appreciation for it and that blessing that it is, but also to understand the appreciation for getting away from the screens and unplugging.
Yes.
And just God's beauty, to be honest. Like, creation, the outdoors, it never ceases to dumbfound me. Even in Kansas, which most people would deem as one of the most boring states, like, I just drove through the Flint Hills again, and every time it's like, if you compare it to like an Idaho, it doesn't have a whole lot visually to offer, but in and of itself, it is beautiful. And there's nothing that will bring that realization to you more so than sitting in the woods for a few hours. So,
I agree.
Awesome. Well, guys, let's kind of wrap up this episode. So, in reflection, what is the one thing that you guys are going to take away from this episode?
That I'm freaking stoked for hunting season. And I can't come quick enough.
Right.
Yeah, well, I mean, how can you not be stoked, you know? But I think I'm gonna take away the the fact that we're all hunters and we look at things in such a similar way, whether or not you live in Idaho, whether or not you live in Missouri, whether or not you live wherever you live, it's like the hunting in general. It seems like we all look at things the same way, whether it's practicing, prepping, taking the ethical shot, doing the right thing. And I think most of us as hunters are kind of in that same realm of doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. The brotherhood that some of the outdoor sports forms. And I think with that, also just realizing, the other guy in the woods, 90% of the time is going to be pretty much on the same page with you.
Yep.
So.
And then just my last question, what does getting outdoors give you that you don't get anywhere else? What's so special about getting outdoors?
Once again, for me, I think it's going back to that peace, that calm, that nothing else. I mean, I love spending time with my family. I love, going and doing other hobbies that I have, but there really is nothing that brings calm and relaxation like the outdoors.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's really the biggest thing, and I will say this: I respect the outdoors. I mean, I've had some situations and scenarios run into play where it's like you got to respect it just as much as you love it, because it's a big task that we're all taking on, especially whether or not you're climbing trees or climbing mountains, and you can change your life in a hurry if you're not respecting the outdoors.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Taylor. I think that respect for the outdoors is huge. And nowadays, over the past couple hundred years, we've gotten so far removed from where we were for all of human history, where everybody's outdoors all the time. That's just what you do. And being able to kind of wake up in a way, right? And being able to be one with nature. I mean, there's literally nothing closer than killing something with your bow, harvesting it, butchering it, cooking it, and eating it. And that, like, literally, where else are you going to possibly find something like that? Like the core us as human beings, what we're created to do. It's that right there.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Getting back to our roots.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Awesome, gents. Well, what are you guys most looking forward to this season? What's the one thing that you are most looking forward to?
Well, I can start this one out. I'm actually, this is going to be my first season trad hunting, so I'm trying to go back. I know I'm getting my compound redone. I'm getting my strings put on, and it's going to be nice, but it's mental value to me. My friend that passed away actually gave me that. He sold it to me before he passed away, and I put new strings on it, got a quiver put on it, and did some stuff. And it's kind of my big thing this year is to get out and get. Cool. I don't care if it's a doe, I don't care if it's a buck. I mean, I'd love to get a public land buck with my recurve, but my big thing is to get out there and get something down with that recurve.
There you go.
So sick.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
So trad hunting is a whole different ball game, and you guys talk about fletching your own arrows. I fletch my own arrows. I do all my own stuff. I build all my own stuff. So that was definitely a learning process on trying to get that set up, paper tuned, and working the way that you want it to work. Very, very cool. So
that's sick. Dude,
you got to keep us updated on that.
Yeah, you got to start a YouTube and go through all this stuff. I bet there'd be a huge following for
my buddy tells me that all the time, man. He's like, and my thing is filming, and I'm not sponsored by I think it's the painted arrow or pointed arrow. They've got these phone mounts, and it's got a thing you put on the back of your phone, but they make a tree mount. They also make a bow mount that goes on your stabilizer. You actually just stick your phone on there, and that was actually a good thing for me because it kept me off my phone. So I'd stick my phone up there, I'd turn my camera on, whatever, I'd stick my phone up there, and then I wasn't tempted to touch it because it was on the front of my bow. And that got me away from being on the phone and the stand, and And then now this year, my big thing is I want to get something to where I can film other people hunt. So I'm looking at they got a like a Mag Pro arm that they've got. You just put your phone on there and you can move it around, and it's going to make it pretty neat for hunting and filming other people's hunts. So
Sick.
There you go. Love it.
yeah, that's kind of the big thing for me.
Very cool. Yeah, you'll have to keep us updated on that. I can't wait to see the first deer you pick up with that one.
Hey, we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't go like my turkey season is gone.
Well, yeah, I hope so. What about you, Elijah? What are you looking forward to this season?
I'm looking forward to a harvest. I've never really, and I think you guys are kind of in the same boat. I've never chased bucks, especially up here in Idaho. It's a lot harder. You could go all season and maybe see 1 or 2 bucks. And so I think like my last 7 deer have been does, but it's meat in the freezer. And
there you go.
So I don't care. It's always my goal every year is to be able to harvest, especially this year, get something early so I don't have to take any time off, so I can take time off when the new baby comes at the end of hunting season.
Love that.
100%. For me, I've got 2 buddies of mine from church that are wanting to go out and learn how to hunt. And so I think that's
what it's about.
That's what I am most interested in and looking forward to this season, is getting at least one of those guys out. So
that's sick.
It can change their lives, man. That's how it starts.
Yep, exactly.
All right, everybody. Well, that is it for tonight. That our typical 45-minute long podcast went for a little over 2 hours. Taylor, thank you so much, dude, for being on.
Yeah.
We're gonna have you on.
Hey,
here.
thank you guys. Thank you guys very much.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll bring you back on after hunting season's over, and maybe we can, if you want, maybe we can plug your socials. So if you are doing a YouTube page for any of this filming stuff or whatever, we'll throw your socials up, and then here in a couple months, 2 or 3 episodes from now, we'll have you back on and get an update after hunting season's over.
I would love that. Yep, that's the plan, man. Try to get something going to where I can get everybody else out there experiencing what I get to experience. So,
yep.
Heck yeah.
Sounds like a good January episode.
Yeah, that would be cool, man.
Yeah.
Hopefully by then there's already some stuff on the ground. So,
dude.
That would be amazing. Although
Next step is create a group text for hunting season, and it's just sending pictures. That's all you can do is just send pictures.
I'd love to see some of the pictures that you guys come up with, because I'm sure where we're at, I mean, we've all got different class of animals. So.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'll drop a big muley. And then
and then we're going to be like, oh, well, we can't even send anything else because that's not fair.
Yeah, well, dude, some of the pictures that he sent me from his backyard, it's
dude, before we leave, really quick, the other day, I'm doing this beach house, and I'm up on the roof, huge 9,000 square foot house right on the beachfront, and there's 2 bucks. There's 2 mule deer bucks that come in. They're still in velvet. They're fighting in the water on the beach. This is like 3 days ago. And only in McCall, Idaho. Do you see that where you're working? It was pretty cool.
That is crazy.
And that's kind of a cool thing too that you kind of pointed at. And Kevin, he lives close enough where he could probably experience that. Is where I'm at here in the lake. The deer are smart enough to know that they're safe inside the lake. There's no hunting inside the lake. You could feed these deer from your golf cart, and let me tell you, some bucks that will blow your mind. 180-inch deer that will walk up 10 feet on you and just stare at you.
Yep.
So it's definitely a surreal thing when you have a big buck, especially if you're a hunter and you're like, man, if I catch you outside these gates, we're going to have a different conversation.
Yeah, 100%. But they're there like, you can't touch me.
Oh, yeah, and they know. I'm telling you, they know, and they tease you. It's crazy.
Yep,
dude.
Yep. 100%.
Right. Well, thank you, everybody, for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure you follow Blue Collar Outdoors. And, again, we'll put Taylor's socials in here so you can follow him as well. Be sure to leave a review and share the show with somebody, and we appreciate you. This was awesome. Taylor, thank you again. And
thank you guys.
Have a good evening.
Yeah, thank you guys.
You guys do.
Stay tuned for our next episode, guys. We are going to be reviewing bidding and estimating for jobs, which anybody who's in the blue collar field, we all know that is probably the toughest actual part of our job.
Rather talk about hunting season.
Hunting season is definitely the fun thing, but we got to touch on blue collar every now and then. So stay tuned, guys. We're gonna have a couple of guests for that one. I'll reveal that in the next episode when we actually introduce them. But in the meantime, guys, thanks for hanging out, and until next time, make sure that you work hard, hunt hard, and make some memories.
See ya.
Awesome, guys. See ya.
Blue collar outdoors, where the back roads whisper and the night wind roars. Blue collar outdoors, for the hunters, the workers, and the ones who endure through the frost, through the mud, through the smoke and the stars. We're living the life that made us who we are. Blue collar outdoors. Pull up a chair, the fire's lit. Blue collar outdoors.